Who remembers this video?
Oh, what? It's what? Oh, I what? It's what? Oh, I do simply need a break. So don't take it right to the face, Dexter!
Famous Dex, a rapper from Chicago who actually used to hang out with famous GDs like FBG Duck. He would submit himself in the rap game in 2016, a time of music to where you just had to be there to experience it. But he's actually been rapping for 10 plus years, since 2013. Way before he would blow up in 2016 and get signed to Rich the Kid's label, Rich Forever. Dex was rapping in the streets of Chicago trying to make it out.
Feel my face when I bustin' out this hero. Call money Nick, man, I just found the zero. You say you a shooter, boy, I got them shooters. We running your store, call up the remove.
A little fun fact, Famous Dex also went to the same high school as Lil Durk, Robertson High School. Dexter would start to pursue and try to make music a career in 2014 after the tragic passing of his mother, who passed away from breast cancer. Dexter released his first mixtape that year in 2014 under the name Never Saw This Coming. Obviously, this being Dexter's first tape, it didn't pop off like he expected, but that's okay because Dexter would continue with music throughout the years 2015 and 2016, and his first big hit he would drop would be Drip From My Walk in December of 2015.
I get the drip from my wall. I get the drip from my wall. I get the drip from my wall.
This song gained Dexter a lot of success because 3 months later in March of 2016, Famous Dex would get signed to Rich the Kid's Rich Forever, being the first signee on the label. The foreshadowing is crazy because Famous Dex probably would have been rich forever if he didn't spend all his money on drugs, but we'll get to that. Flash forward to the summer of 2016, and this is where Famous Dex would really turn up and start making that real money. He would release OK Dexter in July of 2016, being one of his biggest hits to this day.
Don't look at me, I'm not human. My dirty on me, I'll do it.
Famous Dex admits he's been smoking the ganja since the age of 13, but when did the addiction to the other stuff that's not the ganja start happening? The stuff that derailed this man's career and made him lose his teeth. He admits in an interview with Say Cheese that when the money started coming in and when he first got famous is when he started spending a lot of his money on drugs.
I'm finna piggyback on what we just said. The drug addiction started when I started getting all the money. When the money started coming in good, I can support my habit.
April 6, 2018, Famous Dex would keep his success going by dropping his first studio album, Dex Meets Dexter, which would contain his legitimate biggest hit to this day, Japan.
I just popped the Xan, 50,000 in Japan. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I ain't doing no plan, baby, you did.
That's the one thing I liked about Famous Dex is because he wasn't doing no cap rap back in the day. Trust me, if he said he popped the Xan 50,000 in Japan, trust me, he popped the Xan in Japan and probably spent 50,000, but trust me about that Xan, he popped that. A month later, May 15, 2018, and this is where you could really tell Dexter here probably spent a little too much on Xans, because in his interview with DJ Small Eyes, you could tell he was just high off his ass.
I'm Cookie Monster. I should play with my Sesame Street. You know, cookies ain't your fuck. Do you smoking no gelato?
If only it was gelato you were smoking and not meth. You probably still have a career. Guys, if you guys want a career, don't do drugs. They make you really lazy. Fans would notice Dex's addiction, and like I said, the drugs make you lazy. And after that first studio album in 2018, Dex would try to live off that for the next 2 years, and slowly people would forget about him. Someone 3 years ago in 2021 saying his situation was pretty sad. He had an opportunity to be a lot bigger than he was, I think. Someone else saying, yeah, I remember him being pretty huge in like 2017, 2018, thought he was going to be around for a while. Then he just disappeared. 2 years after Japan, October 9, 2020, Dex released his second studio album, Diana, which this one didn't do good like Dex Meets Dexter, being an absolute flop for Dex and only sold 4,000 copies. 2 months later is when fans would get the news of Dex checking himself into rehab in December of 2020. A few months later, in March of 2021, Dex would go to jail for 19 charges of domestic violence and possession of an illegal gun. After getting out of jail, he would tweet the next year in 2022 that he has been 5 months sober and that God is good. But he would battle with his addiction some more that later year in November, checking himself back in the rehab. In April of 2023, a video would come out of Dex saying he's been sober 11 months.
I've been drug clean for 11 months. I'm happy and healthy.
But you could flash forward to today, 2024, and you could tell that the drugs took over Famous Dex's career because the views just aren't the same, and it doesn't seem like he has really a sustainable rap career right now. And speaking of unsustainable rap careers, that brings us to someone else I'm going to talk about in this video by the name of Lil Xan. Now, if you would have thought Lil Xan rap career got taken out by the drugs, well, yeah, you could have guessed that because his name's fucking Lil Xan. Someone even calling Lil Xan Lil Cancer. Then someone replying to that and saying, whoa, dude, don't trash cancer like that. Now, Lil Xan had an addiction way before his big hit single Betrayed in 2017 that would rise him to the top of music that year. The song has 500 million streams, so yeah, I mean, people were talking about this guy. And if you're one of those people that actually listen to the lyrics while you're listening to music, you could tell this guy was battling with something called, you know, Xanax. But you'll soon find out that wasn't the only thing this guy was taking. He says that his addiction started because his doctor prescribed him something for his anxiety. He would cancel a bunch of shows in 2018 due to his addiction, missing out on good money just because he was an addict. A video surfaced in 2018 of this dude just messing up his expensive G-Wagon.
I'm gonna show y'all what mental illness really looks like. Y'all wanna see what that looks like? I just did this to my car. Scratched it, keyed it up, I just bought it. I just bought this car. Keyed all the way. Fucking door. Wanna know why I'm doing that? Because of mental illness. All this materialistic shit don't mean shit in the world. And when they won't let you do, I'm owned. I'm a slave. I'm a slave to my management. I'm a slave to everybody. I don't get control of my license. I don't get control of my bank account. I don't get control of shit. I can't even drive that car.
His only studio album, Total Xanarchy, was released that year, April of 2018, selling 28,000 copies first week and debuting at number 10 on the Billboard Top 200. So he saw a little bit of good success with this album, I'm not gonna lie. But this is his only album he's ever released, because he got lazy. In December of 2018, we would see that Lil Xan would go into rehab. Then 2 weeks later, he would check himself out of rehab. In 2021, a video would drop of Lil Xan saying that he is broke now.
But and the reason I flew coach is obviously I'm very poor and I don't have any money anymore. So.
And honestly, what makes me sad is that this guy can't even get a job up at Burger King if he wanted to. You see his face, man? No one's gonna accept you. There was even a video that same year when it was about to turn into the new year, December 2021. This dude would blame his manager for his addiction, having no accountability for his own actions.
And my manager was supplying me with the drugs. He knew all my plugs, so if I couldn't perform because I was withdrawing back then, because yes, I used to be a drug addict, you know, he would call, make calls, send $5,000 out here, $5,000 out here, just to ship the drugs to wherever we're at in the world, Switzerland or anywhere in America. And he's gonna act like he didn't do that, like a hypocrite. And I'm really feeling like I should take him to court, right?
But if we flash forward to March 2024, this dude still only has one album. He dropped a couple singles that didn't really do too well, but March 2024, he went on TikTok and claims that he's sober.
I used to struggle with addiction every day of my life until I finally realized I had to get sober. I put a lot of those experiences into this project I've been making.
You guys want to hear what his new music sounds like? Well, I got you. Here's the sober Lil Xan.
I've been down that road. They can take my soul. A lot of people switched up on me. I don't see them around no more. A lot of snakes in the grass come around, so I dub those hoes.
You know, you might as well continue with music, try to blow up again with the music and stuff, because no regular job is happening for you. But you could see these drugs just take out these artists' careers like it's nothing. They're more worried about the drugs than actually dropping music and making it a career, making it a sole focus. But this next guy we're going to talk about, his sole focus was his music. I mean, he dropped a bunch of songs. He had a bunch of unreleased songs. I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about already. But this guy could freestyle for an hour. He was amazing. And this isn't a story of someone getting lazy off an addiction and not dropping music. This is more of a story of the addiction actually taking the person out of this world. Cause we all know if Juice WRLD ain't do what he did on that plane, he would be top 3 today. Easy, bro. He would admit in the interview with No Jumper that his addiction would start way before he started making music, and this was because he would listen to the music back in the day when he was a kid, and the music, they would glorify drugs, like people like Future. He would glorify drugs in his music, and that made Juice WRLD want to try drugs himself when he was 12 or 13 years old.
You always had issues with drugs even before you started to get famous and rich?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was something that I was into early, low-key due to music. Cause like, I was a music head, so like in 6th grade, 7th grade, I'm hearing songs about sipping lean. Those are like the real influential years, I feel like, especially for like a boy. Dirty Sprite, like off the first Dirty Sprite mixtape. And that shit had me wanting to sip lean at like 11, 12 years old, bro.
Him even doing a collab tape with Future when he got famous called The World on Drugs. Now, when I was 11 or 12 years old, I was not thinking about sipping lean at all. Now, Juice WRLD never had to worry about the falling off allegations because of drugs and everything, because he would consistently drop music. He was always in the lab, even though he was an addict. But you could tell like his personality was just his addiction and getting girls, cars, money, and all that. But he would rap a lot about his addiction.
All these drugs got me feeling myself. Mama tell me that I'm really killing myself. She say I need help. I don't need help, no. I wanna be by my lonely. I take the perk by my lonely. I'm drinking the lean the same way they drinking the liquor. I am a fiend.
Just insanely sad. You could tell there's a bunch of yes men in this guy's crew that wouldn't even try to help this guy if they wanted to. As long as the money's coming in, they're getting paid, they're doing good. It doesn't matter if this guy's addicted. He's making good music, he's making money. You know, this is gonna happen forever. The drugs won't take our man out. He'll be here forever and doing this for a long time, even though he's an addict.
My name's Perky and I came to play.
Unfortunately, that's not how it works. I truly believe that if this guy didn't have so many yes men around him, he would still be here today. But also, he started at such a young age that without the drugs, he really wasn't himself. I bet without the drugs, he couldn't rap like he wanted to. Yep, I've been tapping in the opiates. It is not easy to get out of, especially if there's no will. I just feel no one is to blame. Addiction is a bitch. I feel you, bruh. As an alcoholic for 5 years, it really isn't as simple as just don't do it. People don't understand unless they've experienced actual addiction. Honestly, this alcohol addiction gave me a whole new appreciation to my dad, for real. Like, I get it now, and I'm sorry for judging you. December 8th, 2019, the world would lose a living legend. Juice WRLD had a flight to Chicago, and on that flight, he had 70 pounds of marijuana, prescribed codeine bottles, and some pills. And law enforcement was notified of this, and they were gonna wait when Juice WRLD landed to check the plane. Juice WRLD got notified of this, that the law enforcement was on them, and he took all of the pills that were on the plane. So they land in Chicago at 1 a.m. and they walk out, and obviously all the law enforcement is there. And while they're walking out, Juice WRLD starts convulsing on the floor, and he was pronounced dead by 3 a.m. With the heavy amounts of opiates in his system, there was also codeine, also known as lean, found in the system too. Heavy amounts. Instead of Juice taking the charges himself or having some fall guys in his crew take the charges, he decided to take all the pills because he thought he could handle it. He's been doing this for years. I can handle this. Nothing will happen to me. And unfortunately, we lost someone that could have been making great music till this present day in 2024. Even though his music will probably live on forever, he's still not here to make it, and someone's mother doesn't have their son. He really is the perfect example of a rapper who let their addiction take over their whole career.